My brother is disabled and gets more attention, so I bullied him his entire life. Was I wrong to do this? Am I the a-hole?
Does he deserve it?
I know this will get a lot of hate, and yes, I deserve it. I know I'm not looking for any validation or forgiveness. I know I am a piece of human trash. I just need to get this out.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all? I have a brother who is 2 years older than me. He has suffered from a condition since birth that forces him to be in a wheelchair anytime he is out of bed. He cannot use his arms that well either. We used to have a great relationship until I turned 11, and I really started resenting the amount of attention he took from my parents and how much stress he put them under. I had to constantly help him, change him, feed him, and I hated it.
Oh, geez.
There were a few years in his life when he was so mean to my parents, and it really made me resent him more. I realize now that I had no right to judge him, and I will never know how difficult life is for him. I stopped hanging out with him and made more friends at school. I would tell my family all the fun I was having at school during dinner to make him feel bad.
Really?
Man, I started barely talking to him or acknowledging his presence. He would get frustrated to the point of tears to get my attention. It started escalating 2 years ago when I would purposely turn off the Wi-Fi and unplug the TV every time we had to leave the house so my brother could do nothing but sit in his wheelchair.
This is really
Yeah. I would purposely delete his favorite saved shows on the DVR. I would make fun of his speech, push things just out of his reach. I would act disgusted when I had to change or bathe him. It always made him feel bad and he would apologize. I made my own brother apologize for taking a dump. What the F is wrong with me? But my effing saint of a brother never told my parents, and he never let me have it. 3 weeks ago, he was trying to talk to me nonstop, and I was just ignoring him. I got annoyed and wheeled him against his wishes to the backyard and placed him under an umbrella and went back inside. I fell asleep and realized I left him out there for 3 hours.
OP, dude. You're kind of up, dude.
Yeah. When I went back to bring him inside, he was in tears and wouldn't look at me. He was humiliated. I've always felt guilty about how I treated my brother all these years, but my anger towards him overpowered it. But seeing that look on his face affected me in a way that was different from before. I stopped all the bullying after that day. I couldn't look him in the face. I was so ashamed. Last Sunday, my brother told me he was glad I was his brother and friend. I couldn't even respond. I went to my room and cried. I'm effing crying again, typing all of this out. When did I become an evil trash human being? I'm 17 and he's 19 now. I know there's nothing I can do to make up for the past 6 years. My brother will be returning with my mom from a specialist appointment tonight. I'm going to apologize to him and beg him for his forgiveness tonight. I want to start being an effing decent brother to him again. I am a healthy guy with no issues who chose to bully his only brother for something that wasn't his fault. I am so ashamed of myself. There is an update.
Man, I think what's crazy is his brother actually is still loves and calls him a friend.
Yeah, Opie's brother's really got a big heart.
Let's get into this update.
We do have an update. Let's get into it. A lot of people are asking for an update. Here it is. I wrote a long ass apology letter that I wanted to read to my brother. I waited until he got home and got into bed for the night. I knocked on his door and he was so effing excited that it was me. I couldn't even get through the first few words. I started crying and saying I wanted to say I'm really sorry and I just couldn't get through it. I just got into bed with him, laid down next to him. He hugged me really tight and said, I missed you, buddy. I'm getting a little emotional. This is a hard one. I effing lost it. I never cried that bad before. He just hugged me for a long time until I calmed down. We didn't talk much. He started to cry for a bit too. It was the first time in a long time that we just hugged. After about half an hour, I got up, gave him a kiss, and he told me he was so happy. Why didn't I do this earlier? I thought I could try apologizing properly again tomorrow. I left him the note to read anyways. I'm feeling hopeful right now and a lot of pressure in my heart is gone. I swear to God and on my own life, I will never treat my brother so badly again. I've been working part-time for the past year and I was saving up money so my brother and my mom could go on a trip to a place he really wanted to go to. But I think that I will take my brother myself instead when I turn 18. I also realized that I need to have a relationship with my brother where I'm not just taking care of him. It needs to be more like a brother relationship, like going out for movies and stuff like that. It's going to take some time for me to fix the mess I created though. I'm just lucky that my brother is amazing.
Wow.
I've received a lot of messages. I appreciate everyone for their input and I did read them all even if I didn't reply. Thanks everyone.
Wow.
Woo, man.
I mean, OP turned it around.
OP did turn it around. His brother is a saint. I think they are getting off on a better foot, mending the relationship. And biggest and most importantly, I think the brother is receiving and feeling the love.
Well, OP, I think you are turning away from your Polish ways.
That's right.
But let's get into this next story.
Let's do it.
My sister has cancer, and I couldn't care less because I think she deserves it, and I told her so. Am I the asshole? Me, 27 male, and my sister, Ava, 31, have never gotten along for a number of reasons. One, I was adopted at age 8, and she still only addressed our parents as her parents, and she calls me a family friend, not her brother, when introducing me to people.
A family friend?
2, I was overweight for most of my childhood, and she used to bully me over it a lot. 3, I have a stereotypical girl name. I was named after my birth mom. For the sake of the post, think Kelly or Anna, something boring and basic, but unmistakably girly, and she continues to this day to bully me over it. 4, she outed me as gay to our entire high school in the school paper.
Oh, in the
5,
school paper?
She says I ruined her life because I encouraged her parents to foster our other 2 siblings. And 6, she once locked me out of the house for 3 days while my parents were out of town. I was 13 and had to stay at a neighbor's house because she wouldn't open the door, even when my parents called and told her to.
All right, this chick ain't looking so great.
There are many more examples of her being awful, but these are the ones that came to mind first. Last week, Ava called me, my siblings, and my parents and asked us to come over for lunch. Me and my siblings had to stop and pick up food on the way over to her house. She won't cook for us, only for her parents. So we drove together. If anyone deserves cancer, it's this person.
Oh, Jesus.
When we got there, our parents were already there in the kitchen crying. I asked what happened, and Ava told us she had cancer and she wanted our support. But she won't cook for you? I said, I'm sorry about that, because I really didn't know what else to say. Ava and my parents got upset, and we all basically got into a screaming match. I told her that she shouldn't be surprised that karma finally found her. Ava asked what I meant, and I told her bad things happen to bad people. She started sobbing, and I walked right out the front door. My parents have been calling me to say that I was an asshole, and my siblings are mad that I drove away without them, but they agree that Ava is awful. I'm starting to feel kind of bad because I know how horrible cancer is, and I know no one deserves to go through that. So, am I the asshole?
Yikes.
John, slam dunk it in. What do you think?
I know you don't like her. I know that she's mistreated you your whole life. That is not what you say to someone when they get diagnosed with cancer. Like, it's just...
Say it at their gravestone.
Say it at the gravestone.
I don't know, but what do you think? Is OP the a-hole? Put your answers in the comments below, but let's get into this next one.
More sadness, maybe? We're about to see. My demonic sister is sick, and my parents want me to donate my bones and organs for her transplant. I refused. Am I the a-hole? This story actually comes from our subreddit r/okopshow. We are going to be reading a lot more stories actually submitted from fans. Big shout out to Diligent Minimum 8397 for submitting this one. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
To keep it simple, I have never had the best relationship with my older sister. She was downright demonic and cruel when we were kids, and being our parents' golden child just made things worse for me. Whenever she needed help with something, it became a priority over anything. For example, she would learn competitive dancing, and I would be forced to learn male roles to help her. Had a science experiment for school, I would be the lab rat for it no matter what it was.
What? How effective is cyanide on the human body?
Let's find out. If she did something cruel, either our parents would not believe me, or I was too scared of her to say anything. If you want a story, I can post. Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, please submit it to r/okopshow.
And this pretty much was the norm for my life, including her making my friends her friends and then have them never talk to me again. Fast forward, we're now in our mid-20s and our mother calls me very worried. She tells me that my sister tested positive for a rare genetic disease and she's in the ICU and that I should be tested. Of course, I was like, yes, of course. I want to make sure I don't have this. But she didn't respond to that and just said that I should come back home and get the tests done. Something didn't sit right and I asked what she wanted tested. She wanted me to be tested to make sure I was a perfect match for organ, blood, and bone marrow transplants for my sister.
Bro, they're taking everything from this man.
I was shocked and horrified that instead of worrying both of her children don't have this, I was just convenient for this. I told her, no, I wouldn't do that. This turned into several weeks of fighting, guilt tripping, and threats. After a point, both call and flat out say, are you really just gonna let your sister die when you can save her? I was silent for a moment and then I replied, I'm not spare parts for your child. I am tired of always being used for her all my life and have her treat me like shit. My answer is no.
Oh.
laying it down. Well, she only needed a bone marrow transplant or donation, but was able to recover after intense treatment. But her attitude towards me changed. I just assumed it was because she almost died. Nope. Our parents lied and told her that I was going to drop everything and come to do whatever it took to help her. So this mixed in with close friends reminding her that she was a terrible sibling to me was a wake-up call. Now my parents expect me to keep the secret till everyone is dead to keep my sister happy, because it would really betray her feelings if she knew the truth. It's been a few years and she's back to being her rotten self, and when she starts up, I just remember this lie and see it as a red button just wanting to be pushed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, it's like even after the sister thinks OP has done all that stuff for her, she still is an asshole only a few years later. Near death won't stop an asshole from being an asshole. What boils your blood? Put your answers in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.
Love ya.